I say follow through! Who's with me? Follow through! I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me! Kill him! Son of a Everybody stop! Look at me! My brothers, nothing will be accomplished by shedding Meeseeks' blood. None of us can die until our job is done. The job can't be done. We'll never get 2 strokes off his game. No, we won't. But we will get all strokes off his game. Where's he going? Where is he? When we kill him!
Morty, I already told you, it's not your family!
Sure, but can we talk about what they're trying to do? Because Not Jerry seems to have you well in his grip and able to kill you easily, but is just standing there waiting for this scene that's just an excuse to justify a title sequence clip to end.
Rick explains that these are demons, so maybe they're trying to do something along the lines of taking his soul, and you just can't see it visibly happening. Besides, it doesn't actually matter. This is a cartoon. That isn't supposed to make sense.
Why would this facility, as part of its infrastructure, have a button that remotely controls this Ghostbusters-style trap that Rick had in his hand? Isn't that something he just brought to the adventure?
It's entirely possible that Rick made his gadget in a way that allowed the building to activate it, because he knew that's where the demons were. He is a genius, after all.
You make a request, the Meeseeks fulfills the request, and then it stops existing.
Rick, knowing about this Meeseeks box, makes so many of his previous decisions in this show completely unnecessary. As disposable as these beings are, why wouldn't he use them as at least an extra pair of hands to complete all his adventures with Morty?
One of the foundations of Rick's character is that he genuinely loves and wants to spend time with Morty, which is why he goes on so many adventures with him. Bringing a Meeseeks along would ruin their bonding time.
This village is terribly poor. Yet the giant that lives in the clouds above has untold treasures.
This world not only happens to have the Jack and the Beanstalk story from our Earth in its reality, but R&M also just happened to land in the village where he lives. Just a reminder that even the most brilliant shows need some little blue convenience pills once in a while to keep their stories firmed up.
Okay, you're missing the point. Having a Jack and the Beanstalk story is the central joke of this plot, because the show is mocking that story by having a much more fucked up version of it that includes bigoted giants. What I'm saying is that Jeremy is completely misunderstanding the entire point of this episode.
In conclusion, a friendship with Summer Smith is the most valuable and enriching experience of your young life.
Mr. Meeseeks was able to call an assembly at Summer's school just to say great things about her so that she'd be popular, and it looks like the entire school is on board with a magical blue what's-it they've never seen before in his pro-summer message.
That's the joke.
I know Jerry is a dim-witted sad sack, but wouldn't shaving 2 strokes off his golf game suggest that he's somewhat competent at golf? If the guy can't even hit the ball off the tee, then isn't the real request shave 1,000 strokes off his golf game?
But you just said that Jerry is an idiot, so how are you failing to comprehend the fact that saying 2 strokes doesn't make much sense, but it fits perfectly with this character?
Let me try something.
Why did they bring the Meeseeks box with them on the golf course? Did they expect to need extra Mr. Meeseeks during this tutorial?
Does anybody really care, though? This is an episode about blue dudes helping people. You're not supposed to look too closely at it.
Can you help me get 2 strokes off of Jerry's golf swing?
But if the Meeseeks are aware of their own process and abilities enough to call other Meeseeks to help with what I asked them to do, wouldn't that impact their perspective on their own purpose in a way that negates my original request?
No, because they simply need to complete the person's request to stop existing, which is what they want. Later in the episode, we see that the Meeseeks cannot physically die, so they have to complete the task no matter what.
Are Rick and Morty from a Spider-Verse? Because I don't know how you climb a mostly flat surface like that without a little accidental radioactive spider venom.
First of all, Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche. And second, you've seen plenty of Rick and Morty to know that Rick has all sorts of wild inventions, so it's safe to assume that they're using some kind of climbing gadget.
Meeseeks don't usually have to exist this long. It's getting weird.
How does he even know this? I've about had it with the Discount Blue Man Group's existential paradoxes.
It's really not a paradox, though. The Meeseeks are clearly born with the knowledge of how their existence works. I don't understand what's so hard to get about this.
Here we are, walking down the courthouse steps.
Why would the courthouse steps lead all the way down to the non-giant world below? Wouldn't the steps at the giant court lead to other places where the giants regularly go?
It's a cartoon, my man. Nobody cares.
Why did Jerry bring everybody back to the house for his lesson? How are you supposed to learn this inside a living room? Was he trying to hit a ball inside his house?
Golf courses typically don't let you stay indefinitely, so it's safe to assume that he had to leave after a while.
Stop fighting me! Just let this happen.
Holy My surrealist sci-fi comedy show just went super dark. The creators have even said they wanted this scene to reflect the trauma of assault and not be funny at all. But here's my question. Is this really the place for it? I'm all for victim sensitivity, but seems to me the most sensitive thing to do would be to not unexpectedly reference real-life trauma in a place where most wouldn't be expecting to have to deal with it.
What the fuck? You just said that they shouldn't put a traumatic scene in a place where you wouldn't expect to have a traumatic event happen. But my question is, do you ever expect a traumatic event to happen? Do people walk into any given room and expect to be assaulted? This sin is strangely tone-deaf, even for cinema sins.
These Meeseeks are never given verbal instructions. Are we changing the rules so that they can just intuit what their purpose is now?
Dude, this episode has literally devolved into the discount Blue Man group trying to murder each other. Stop looking for logical explanations for shit.
Wait, neither Jerry nor Beth told the Meeseeks where they were going for dinner. So maybe after Jerry left, he went upstairs to get dressed and came back down and told the Meeseeks where they were going, but why did he clearly go outside after telling them that? There's only one door in the living room that would open and close, and it goes outside.
The obvious explanation is that the Meeseeks heard about the restaurant off-screen, or maybe just followed Jerry. And as for why he left the house first and then went back to put a suit on, well, he's an idiot, so he probably just forgot and had to go back in.
At this point, I'm kind of wondering how the Thirsty Step stays in business. Their location is awful, and most of its customers couldn't possibly make it up here easily.
Buddy, you're questioning how a cartoon bar in a cartoon fantasy world can stay in business. Do you not see the issue with that?
So we're just saying hitting a tomato with a metal shelving bar into a large pot about 10 feet away is equivalent to improving your golf game 2 strokes?
Yes. Next question.
So the literal request was to shave 2 strokes off of his game, and Jerry got more than that by merely learning how to drive the ball. So go f*** yourself, Stickler Meeseeks. Your job is technically done.
But the stickler mentioned Jerry's short game, which Jerry hasn't shown any improvement in until now. So go fuck yourself, Stickler Jeremy.
See you next week, everybody.
The fourth wall is my least favorite wall, yet I'm sad somehow every time it gets broken.
You don't like the fourth wall breaks in this show? Okay, that's worth this many sins.